Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to Soulful Thoughts from New Zealand. This is Meghan, your host, mystical teacher, author, and death and dying guide. As you may well know by now, New Zealand endured yet another cyclone, which has left many communities in complete ruin. The devastation is heartbreaking, and the recovery will be very long, as it will in Turkey and Syria and other nations around our dear world. Let us offer what we can in ways of financial and prayerful assistance. Where your heart feels the most heartbreak is where you are needed in whatever way you can. And now, here we are, moving into the month of March, the month that have astrologers particularly excited as great changes are foreseen. The full supermoon on March the 6th or 7th, depending on your hemisphere, is understood to be a time of both endings and beginnings. It is interesting to bring these two together under the one moon cycle. Sometimes when we have endings in our life, there can be a long liminal phase of nothingness before new beginnings shows her face. And then we may travel for many months or even years where there are no great beginnings, no monumental endings, just a continuum of life, gently coming and going. It seems to me we are currently in a rapid, energetic time right now, where old ways and beliefs are being uprooted and being asked to end, and new ways are right here, waving at us, saying, "Take me up. Please let me help you and your world." And then another ending comes our way. Another beginning shows up, and the cycle seems to be continuing on in a very quick succession. There feels to be so much support for this renewal of consciousness, even if it looks very tragic and devastating in so many ways with the old crumbling. Unfortunately, our news sources do not show the new beginnings that are concurrently happening. Let us be aware of the new risings, even if we cannot see them. Let us become a part of the new rising in whatever way we are called to do so. And later in the month, we are having astrological alignments that are charged to bring in the energy of power to the people. I am holding a retreat at the new moon and equinox time with the theme being harnessing the power of life and death and how we can experience this both personally and collectively. Power is a word that is loaded with so many associations, but do we really understand what it means? The etymology takes us back to 15th century France, where the word originally meant to be able. To be able. When we are able to speak, or able to take action, or to not speak and to not take action, depending on the situation, then power is present. But of course, one needs wisdom to discern what is needed and when. For me, the true power lies in my I am presence, which is the inner wise self or my true nature. Only here does my discernment reach into and beyond surface realities, and at times will seem to actually contradict what we would normally think would be the right action, the right words, or the right time. But what of this power to the people that the astrologers are so excited about? In Stephen Mitchell's book, The Tao Te Ching, it is written, "When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone. Trust them. Leave them alone." What I see in human nature is incredible resourcefulness, ingenuity, and the desire to act for the good of all. This is human beings who have not lost their spirit and therefore have not lost their wisdom. Those whose spirit is wandering lifeless, lost, or fearful in the world for varying reasons can only see their needs for self at whatever the cost. Power is misused and creates dire circumstances for many people. When a people lose their spirit, they lose their wisdom, they lose their ability to act for the good of all. So here we are again, humanity, the cry for the truth of the human spirit to be embodied and lived, which is essentially a spiritual revolution or a spiritual return. A cry that has graced our land for centuries through various wisdom keepers from numerous disciplines and traditions. A cry we are all asked to participate in. What in your life brings you into the goodness and joy of your spirit? What in your life brings you into the goodness and joy of your spirit? Whatever it is, do it more. Do it more. There are some days I feel my soul frayed as I look and see or experience the lost spirit of humanity. And unfortunately here in New Zealand, I have seen a great change in our Kiwi character. Greed has entered. Money is everything. And the people are struggling for everyday living and needs. And this deeply hurts my heart. So on these frayed days, I take what I call a Jesus walk up the mountain, remove myself from the pervasive energy, and restore my inner nature. You know, sometimes it's just hard to be a mystic in the marketplace, and humans can be so very, very noisy. So this month, I invite you to contemplate your relationship to power, because that is going to bring you into your relationship with goodness, with the joy of your spirit They're all interconnected. So what does power mean to you? Where do you falter into false weakness? And where do you strain into false power? And I guess the ultimate question, what is the power of your inner wisdom self? What is the true power of your inner wisdom self? You may also want to create or join an Equinox ritual to help restore the power to the people, the goodness, the togetherness, the loving action for the good of all. I think we all need to help create and co-create and keep creating and keep affirming our goodness, our togetherness, and that loving action for the good of all. Something simple, something just to set it apart, to make it a sacred time, to make it a time of power. Power can be very quiet. Power is ultimately humble. So see what wants to come through you. And if you are a New Zealand listener and would like to join us for our Equinox retreat from March 17th through the 19th at Waihi Beach in the North Island, we have one place left. So please see my website for details, meghandon.life. So I wish you all a smooth time in this March month of endings and beginnings, allowing all to flow easily from one to the other, knowing you are an integral part of the spiritual revolution at hand. All power to the people. Arahanui.